Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Yes, the blacktops of Clark Park, Howard Halls, the Palestra, and of course, home of national champions 3 times. Villanova, the high scorers, Wilt and Kobe, and the local NBA icons, the Doctor and AI, as we come back inside Liacouras Center for game number 2 here of this triple header, 3-headed monsters and the aliens on CBS Sports Network. Ed Cohen with former NBA champion Avery Johnson. What a first game. What a performance by the Ghost Ballers. Moon, Taylor, Davis, all 3 combining for their 51 points. And now we get ready for what should be an exciting game number 2.
Yes, game 2. I'm waiting to see if it can outdo what we saw in game 1. We saw 3 guys, as you alluded to, just put on phenomenal performances. Those guys played unselfish. They played hard. The intensity of that game, you can feel it throughout the building.
Moon, 21 points. He was 9 of 12 from the floor. As for this one here in game 2, 3-headed monsters against the aliens. Our State Farm roster show us a seasoned group for Gary Payton's club, the Aliens. It's a younger group. Have a couple of NBA champions, though, in Brandon Rush and Shannon Brown. But Avery, for the Aliens, the task is simple. You have to keep Reggie Evans off the glass here tonight.
Yes, Reggie Evans is a guy that loves to, what we call, eat glass. He is an incredible rebounder. And I know in today's games, sometimes the analytics might not line up to play Reggie Evans, but he's the guy that needs to be on the court because he gets guys open shots. He plays the right way. He plays hard. And he just attacks the basket violently, and he's a terrific defender.
Well, a guy who attacked the basket early last week against the Triplets was Greg Oden. 6 of the Aliens' first 8 points, but he did not score the rest of the game. That might have to change here tonight.
Yes, one of my old teammates who resting in peace now, Moses Malone, a legend for the Philadelphia 76ers playing with Dr. J. He used to say the ball needs to come to Mo. He said, Andrew Toney, Maurice Cheeks, you guys are Indians. The ball got to come to the chief, Mo. So Greg Oden needs to call for the ball more, be demonstrative, get his hands up, get ready, and just really want the basketball and finish it when he gets it.
That's a hope for that man. Nate Tiny Archibald, the Hall of Famer and the head coach of the Aliens. He's not the only one with Naismith attached to his name, because on the other side, one of the greatest defenders of all time, it's the glove, Gary Payton. I hope that doesn't give you nightmares anymore.
You know, I'm going to forgive Gary, because when the Seattle Supersonics drafted him in 1990, that's the reason why they traded me. But I've forgiven Gary over the years. We've had our matchups, and I would call him a friend now.
It worked out for both of you.
Yes.
To say the least. Away we go. Second game, Aliens and the 3-headed monsters. Aliens seeking their first win in their history. One of the 4 expansion clubs to this year's Big 3. 3-headed monsters, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, Reggie Evans, Rashard Lewis. That is as dangerous a 3 on the floor as you'll find this season.
Yes, Mahmoud is in great shape. Love his conditioning. This guy can just flat out play. Played with him in Denver and still looks the same.
He's 50 years old, and he saved that one, but it's a shot clock violation on the 3-headed monster. So the Aliens will go to work. Andre Owens, their captain, out there with Greg Oden and the 2-time NBA champion Shannon Brown. Now, reset of the rules. First of 50 wins have to win by 2. Be at halftime when one team scores 25. And keep in mind the 4-point shot. Player must be touching any part of the 3 4-point circles, which are away to notch a 4-point basket.
Great job by Greg Oden initially with his pick and roll defense. Now when he recovers, he's going to have to recover without fouling. When we met with Tiny Nate Archibald, his coach, yesterday, he talked about not leaving Greg on an island, especially, you know, in pick and rolls. They got to give him some help.
And they have to do it against dangerous 1-2 punch of Evans and Lewis inside as Abdul-Rauf misses. 2-0 Aliens, and with the ball, Andre Owens leaned in with his shoulder against Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. And He's on the co-captain for the three-headed monsters.
Yeah, I talked to Andre this morning at breakfast, and he talked about starting this game trying to play from the basket back out to the mid-range and then behind the three-point line. He didn't want to start out shooting threes. He really wanted to try to use his size against Mahmoud, going to the basket, trying to draw some fouls, and you can see he's following the plan that we talked about.
4-0 start. Brown stole it. Lewis knocked it into the first row, and it's going to stay with the Aliens after that turnover.
And I cannot believe the physicality of the
no doubt.
Wow.
Some big boys out there. Brown challenged by Lewis. A little hesitation. And the three-headed monsters again looking for their first points. Oden against Lewis tried to deny, and Greg Oden's whistled here against Reggie Evans.
You remember Deadlift Shrimp?
Oh, yeah.
He perfected and mastered that move of drawing fouls in that situation. And even Dirk Nowitzki, he was really good at it.
Well, how about this? 4-0 start for the Aliens, and maybe Andre Archibald seeing something. Ryan Hollins in for Greg Oden.
Quick early sub, just try to give him a chance to think about it, recalibrate a little bit.
Rashard Lewis gets the three-headed monsters on the board. Oden with 2 fouls. Some initial concern, if you pick up your third in the first half, you must sit until halftime. Hollins clearing a lot of space, and Andre Owens buries along too.
And that's what we talked about. See the drive, set it up. Now they're concerned about him driving, so Mahmoud gave him too much space, and then he nailed the three.
Abdul-Rauf, no. Owens cleans it up. Owens takes Lewis off the dribble. Tough shot. Now, miscommunication, giving it back to the Aliens.
Great job. Rashard Lewis decided to go under the screen roll, and we saw it in game 1 with Will Bynum. You have to make a decision, that defender that's on the ball in the pick and roll, whether you're going to try to fight over or get under the pick and roll, and what's the guy involved with the screener, what's he going to do?
Rashard Lewis, that little drop step, draws the foul on Andre Owens. Now, Rashard Lewis, Avery, somebody who, number one, you watch his release, where he releases from, gets so high off the floor, and that length, the strides that he has, one of the toughest matchups when he played in the NBA.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rashard, you know, if he's 6'10", you know, he releases the ball like he's 7'1". I mean, he really gets the ball high above his head, release point, and he's tough to contest his shot once he gets it above his head.
Looking pick and roll for Hollins that time, and Evans tiptoes, kept it in. Brandon Rush turned it over. Evans tucks it, drives, fouled by Rush, and Reggie Evans, as valuable as any player in the Big Three, is going to the line to shoot a 2-point shot.
Yeah, just the positioning defensively by both teams isn't very good right now, whether it's on the ball, going for shot fakes, drawing cheap fouls. There's not really much support help with the secondary defender. So we'll see, you know, how it goes, you know, for the rest of the game, if they can get some secondary help and if the guy on the ball can do a better job of playing defense without fouling.
Shannon Brown against Abdul-Rauf. Fall-away jumper, and there's Lewis. So the three-headed monsters, starting 3 are out there. Aliens have made 2 substitutions. One-on-one, Evans swoops in, and the lefty hook shot. 39 years old, Reggie Evans. 13 NBA seasons as Rush steps up and buries it.
Brandon Rush is the guy I'm looking to have a big game today. I mean, he's got to get 20 points to help the Aliens. Struggled from the field in game 1. And Brandon Rush loves to play golf, so he's got to make some birdies today. He's not going to get very mulligans there.
Maybe get up to Marion after this here in Philadelphia. Hollins breaks free of Evans and fist bumps all across the bench from the Aliens. Tiny loves it. It's going the other way on the screen. Offensive foul, Rashard Lewis.
Tiny at practice on yesterday talked about Ryan Hollins playing more aggressive and more fierce around the basket. So they must have had a discussion about that before the game.
Hollins, the finish, stays in. Robert Vaden has come on for the first time. Didn't play last week. Three-pointer, got it. The Aliens, a strong start, 14-6. And a timeout from the three-headed monsters here in Philadelphia.
Robert Vaden, he's like microwave Vinnie Johnson. Comes in and gives his team instant offense.
Alien Monsters, 5 different Aliens have scored, including a 3 early from Brandon Rush. 9 NBA seasons out of Kansas. And the Alien paired with Mario Chalmers, who plays for the three-headed Monsters, national champions in San Antonio. Chalmers, the legendary shot to get it to overtime against Memphis. And those two Jayhawks are with BT.
And I was talking to the guys. I said, who signed first? And Mario said, I signed first. So did you have to push him hard to join you?
Not too hard. I just had to come back and tell him what it's going to be like at Kansas. And, we've been good friends before that. So, it was easy commitment.
No doubt. When you go to Kansas, you expect to win, no matter what level you're at. So, what is it like to get out here and bang bodies? Obviously, it's pretty physical for the Big Three. Do you enjoy this?
Oh, I'm enjoying it a lot. It's competitive. It's hard. Guys are fighting, and we want to win some games.
Okay, so be honest now. Be honest. Who busted who up more at practice? I know you're not exactly playing the same position, but who won most of the battles? You're smiling, so I'm going to go with you.
I don't. Yeah, we most time I was on some team.
Oh, yeah? Always?
We were most on the same team, yeah.
What about a little one-on-one after practice?
Nah, not really. Like shooting drills, not one-on-one.
All right, guys, get back out there. Appreciate you, boy. Thank you very much. Okay, teammates forever, right?
All right, BT, and yes, an epic national championship against John Calipari and Memphis. Heartbreak at the time, Avery, but Cal got his title with Anthony Davis in 2012, and I know you got some time with him earlier.
Yeah, I had a chance to say hello to Coach Cal. Obviously, we were competing against each other for 4 years in the SEC and had some battles. He came out on top a little bit more than I wanted, but he's done a really great job and just signed a long-term contract, Ed, somewhere in your pay grade, I think.
Same pay grade. His is just a lifetime deal. Not quite. But I'll tell you what, you had a special young man for a year against Kentucky named Colin Sexton, who we'll never forget in the SEC.
Yes, Colin did a great job for us at Alabama. Hit an incredible shot in the SEC tournament to beat Texas A&M, to propel us to beat Auburn the next game, and went on to win a game in the NCAA tournament, which hadn't happened in a long time. But I'm just really proud of him, not only his basketball career, but the type of young man that he's turned into.
He'll be entering his second year with the Cavaliers, a great rookie season, a loaded rookie class in the NBA. Helter Skelter, knocked out of bounds. The Aliens right now in the midst of a 10-0 run. All of a sudden they're leading one of the best teams in the league, 16-6.
Yeah, the game is a game of cycles, and you have to manage it whether you're in a low cycle or a high cycle. So right now, the Aliens are playing some great basketball, but are they going to continue to do what's making them successful, or are they going to get careless with the basketball? But they're on fire right now.
Here's Tre Simmons off the dribble, and he drains it. Let's see if his foot was on the line or not. They're going to confer. It's a long 2. So for the three-headed monsters, you have Chalmers out there with Tre Simmons and Larry Sanders. It's Vaden, Rush, Ryan Hollins for the Aliens. Vaden over Simmons. And Sanders, recently engaged. We'll have more on that later. Pulls down the rebound. Simmons, pick and roll, knocked away. Rush read it perfectly.
Great weak side help by Rush.
Well, Ryan Hollins off the bench is having a night so far.
The Aliens have 2 7-footers, so use your size.
Rush took it at Sanders, and Brandon Rush is going to the line for a 2-point shot and a 10-point lead for the Aliens in Philly.
And this is how a coach can really motivate his team. because in our interview with Tiny Nate Archibald yesterday, he was so passionate about getting his big guys involved, keeping them involved, but he wanted them to play relentless basketball, especially around the basket. Keep going, even if you miss your shot. He talked about Greg Oden and Ryan Hollins, trying to get their shot back and offensive rebound, and you see a lot of that tonight.
Last week, they led against the triplets early, or outscored 30-14 the Aliens were after halftime. Now they lead on Oden early on and didn't have an answer after that. It's been a different story so far. Three-headed monsters maintain. 5 to shoot. Fouled. Shooting it. Tre Simmons counted. And he's going to the line for a chance at 3.
When you have a lead like the Aliens, one of the ways that your lead can disappear are turnovers, but also bad fouls.
Right.
And especially fouls that's going to lead, to a three-point play.
Tre Simmons never played in the NBA. Part of the list of great guards to come from Seattle, Washington, and played a couple of years at Washington. Played in high school and college with Brandon Roy. Here's Dayton, and the rebound for Larry Sanders. Simmons, driving room, had an open layup. Sanders, tougher shot, but that does go.
Big guys that can catch the ball with 2 hands, keep the ball high and finish in traffic, very valuable.
Brandon Rush off the mark. So 2013 Aliens, remember, 1st to 25, gets us to halftime. Rush dancing with it up top. Hollins could finish the dunk.
I think it's going to be important if there's a missed shot to recognize if the ball hits the rim or not. You don't want to give away easy opportunities by trying to bring the ball back out behind the three-point line when you can go back up and get an easy basket.
So that 50-50 ball is huge.
Yeah, that recognition is important.
Now this guy, the captain, Andre Owens, 2 strong Big 3 seasons with Three's Company and last year with the Ball Hogs, and now a captain for an expansion club, and went to great lengths. Even visited Greg Oden in Ohio to make sure that guys were ready and built what he felt was the perfect expansion roster.
Yeah, these guys are very serious about this. The whole Aliens team, they were up early this morning having breakfast, talking about their strategy. Guys are on the phone during the week. Emails are flying back and forth. They're all watching videos. They're very serious about their craft. They're serious about winning.
You sound very serious about the breakfast you had this morning here in Philadelphia. It sounds like it was really good.
I always eat good when I come to Philadelphia. My daughter went to the University of Pennsylvania here. She graduated 4 years ago and working on Wall Street. So my wife and I, we loved the opportunity when we had a chance to come back to Philadelphia.
Big Sunday brunch.
Yes.
Ryan Hollins off the mark. 7-0 run right now for the three-headed monsters. They're feasting. And this is the guy to go to. Reggie Evans denied, gets it back. Late whistle. Ryan Hollins with the foul. Reggie Evans has received so much attention so far. He is going to the line for that 2-point shot.
Yes, I think Reggie, he improved as his career has gone on, especially with the left-handed jump hook around the basket. He was always pretty good driving right, but trying to develop a counter move. And that just shows the wisdom of and how guys try to grow their games.
Simmons follows up. Chalmers, 4-point shot. Third chance. Another rebound for Simmons. Owens, great on-ball defense. Backdoor Simmons, denied by Brandon Rush. And now it's Rush for 3. Some high-energy possessions in the last minute. Drop step, Evans, reverse, no! Hollins with the rebound. Still sitting on 20-15.
Who can play through fatigue at this time of the game when you have a couple of empty possessions? where's the shot selection? Are guys going to just, shoot contested three-point shots, which this can be a bailout shot, or are you going to try to move the ball? Who can fight through fatigue right now is important.
Simmons gets it back, almost travels with it, Avery, but finishes to pull the three-headed monsters to within 3, and Tiny Archibald waiting to sit on a timeout. He's got it.
Great pass by Reggie Evans.
9-0 run here for the three-headed monsters, and you mentioned the fatigue. 7 straight misses on the other side for the Aliens.
Yes, giving goals, that's something that teams need to continue to incorporate more in their offensive system and schemes. Defenses love to react after a pass. And I think Reggie Evans, the rebounds are great, but they're going to need him to score. And playing with his back to the basket a little bit, but I think that where he can be more successful is with elbow catches on the right or left elbow. Get him on the move, get him a live ball, because if he's just going to play with his back to the basket against Hollins and Oden, I don't know if that's going to be very effective or efficient. But get him on the move, run a pick and roll with him, throw it back to him, and get him attacking the defense off the dribble.
He could easily score 22. Could happen in an instant, but we mentioned it when Tiny Archibald went to Ryan Hollins, gave Greg Oden a very early breather, made a huge difference on the defensive end.
Yeah, and it really stifled the success of the Aliens.
Hollins stays in with Owens and Rush. On a switch, Owens against Evans, sets up Brandon Rush. Fall away jumper, good, and much needed after missing 7 straight shots.
Yes. Brandon Rush is a guy that we know can shoot the three-point shot, but defensively, he's really getting after it.
Evans took it right at Hollins, couldn't finish. This is for halftime. Rush drills it. And at the break, it's 25-17 Aliens. And you mentioned that three-point shot in Brandon Rush's arsenal.
Nailed it. You cannot leave Brandon Rush open from behind the three-point line. Too late on the closeout. He can make that shot with his eyes closed.
Aliens seeking their first win in club history, an 8-point lead as we've hit the break in our second game here in Philadelphia. Tiny Archibald said when we spoke to him yesterday, he was going to experiment. He was looking for someone to step up. Thus far, his team has Tiny with BT.
Yeah, NBA legend. We had a long talk last night. First of all, rims got a little tight there, but you finished up the half the way you started, knocking down some shots. What'd you see, Coach?
Well, we're playing, I think, pretty good defense. They're drawing some fouls on us. They got us in the penalty early. Our guys are just being more aggressive than we was the first game, and we trying to match up with them. They got veteran guys and we don't. And right now, the score is indicative. The game is played and really in the second part of the game, and see how we fare.
Yeah. You know, Tiny, one of the things you told us too is that you're still searching for that go-to guy. Maybe fluid. I don't know that you got your answer in the first half, but any clues, any signs?
Well, we got guys that we got taken out the game. Go-Go, I call Greg Oden, I call him Go-Go. He got in early foul trouble. I think our bigs are a little more aggressive than they bigs. Reggie Evans is a vet, okay, and he knows how to draw the fouls. All I hope that we stay be cohesive when we play against them. That's all.
Thanks, Nate. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, Aliens looking pretty good so far.
HRBT, 13 from Brandon Rush. And that's why the Aliens have been able to stifle Reggie Evans and the three-headed monsters. 8-point lead at the break in Philly on CBS Sports Network. Ben Franklin Parkway here in Philadelphia. Aliens 25-17 halftime lead on the three-headed monsters. Larry Sanders, this was last weekend in Detroit. He proposes to his now fiancée, Holly J, and congratulations to the happy couple. And that's in the Big Three here at CBS Sports Network. We would also like to congratulate our manager of remote operations. Yes, Alyssa Goldberg recently got married to Jay Glassman, so congratulations to you two. Mazel tov. What do you know about summer proposals?
Well, we just have love and romance and engagements all in the air. I proposed and asked my wife to marry me over 28 years ago, Ed, and we're still going strong. July 6th next week is my 28th wedding anniversary with my wife, Cassandra.
Congratulations.
Thank you, buddy.
Brandon Rush, speaking of guys who stepped up in the first half for the Aliens, he delivered especially from beyond the arc.
Yes, Brandon Rush, you cannot allow him to shoot threes. He struggled a little bit last week in terms of being efficient, but he's got that look in his eyes tonight where he wants to come out and lead his team to victory. We talked about him needing to get 20-plus points tonight for his team to be successful. He's playing with that type of mentality. And if he has a second half like he did in the first half, it's going to be hard for his team to lose.
21 of the 25 points from the Aliens from non-starters. They lead by 8. Brandon Tierney with the story from Three-Headed Monsters head coach Gary Payton.
All right, Globe, 32% you guys are shooting good shots, just not going down, or bad shots, or a little bit in between. What do you see?
I think it's a little rushing, too. We don't have no energy. We have no energy. We came out with no fire in us, and then they took it to us. They're shooting the ball well. I still don't care. If you don't shoot the basketball well, the hustle plays will get you back in the game, and we haven't been doing that.
Well, that's got to bother you, because aside from being a great defensive player, you were all energy, so you see guys a little listless. How do you get them snap into it?
Well, you got to sub and then see if we can get somebody off the bench that can do it. The second unit came in and gave us a little boost, but then they got a little complacent, and then they didn't do it at the end. But I think if we keep it going and we get a little bit more fire in us, I think this unit I got out here now will do that.
All right, go coach him up. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
You got it.
MBT, you know that he will do that. Avery, Gary Payton, as emotional, as engaged as any guard in NBA history.
Yeah, Gary Payton was a fierce competitor. Back when we played, you can hold and grab. I don't know if he can play in this era of basketball because he's called the glove and nicknamed the glove for a reason. It's not because he was a hands-off guy.
9-time All-Star as his team comes out. Shot clock violation to begin this second half, but the 96th Defensive Player of the Year for that 64-win Sonics team, and maybe they're a champion if not for a 72-win Chicago team that year.
Yes, Michael Jordan hurt a lot of guys' chances of getting winning championships, and Gary Payton and that Sean Kemp team was one of them.
Loose ball foul as Oden went for it against Reggie Evans. So Greg Oden picked up 2 quick ones in the first half, gets a quick one here to start the second. Edge comes from Brown. That leaves Evans open. And Oden with the rebound. Oden, the only alien who has not scored so far in this second game.
It'll be pretty interesting if they can get Greg Oden established in the low post and if he's going to be able to finish.
On cue.
Great finish. Good left hand, good left shoulder turn, jump hook.
10-point lead for the Aliens. No Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf to start the second. It's Chalmers. Missed the rim.
Good on-balance shot by Oden. He didn't allow Reggie Evans to force him into an off-balance shot.
Greg Oden last week with 6 early points in the loss of the triplets. Owens stepped back over Chalmers, was a 2-point shot. So the three-headed monsters, Lewis, Chalmers, and Evans. Rashard Lewis, difficult shot, gets it over Shannon Brown.
I think the key for the Aliens here is on any level of basketball, if a play is working, let's go back to it. So it'd be interesting to see if they go back to Oden in the post, specifically on the right box. But now they give it to him on the left box. So let's see what happens and see if Reggie can get a stop.
And this time it's Evans who's called for the foul. Mentioned earlier the Aliens last week. Triplets behind Joe Johnson go off in the second half, 30-14. Tiny Archibald doesn't want to give a certain player on the three-headed monsters that island to work with and make a comeback.
Right, absolutely. And it looks like the three-headed monsters are not going to double team. they're going to allow Reggie Evans to play one-on-one defense, and he's not having, much success against Oden right now, and even Hollins. Both of those guys are playing extremely well, so I think they got to do something to adjust their defense, maybe dig with the guy that's guarding the passer and try to force Oden to make passes off the dribble, because once he gets the ball in the paint, he's too tall, too strong versus Reggie Evans.
Lewis. Oden got a piece, and Brown's got it for the Aliens. A 10-2 run spanning halves. Look at Lewis fronting Oden. Room for Brown. The spin. Almost. He's going to the line for a two-point shot. The Aliens leading 30-19.
Yeah, they're playing with a purpose. And the great thing you love about big guys is not only when they can do the job for you on offense, but when they can come from the weak side and block shots. That shows that Greg Oden wants to play on both ends of the floor.
Well, the balance across the board for the Aliens. Remember, Oden left early in that first half. Hollins, great defensive work on Reggie Evans. And now it's Shannon Brown to extend the lead to 13.
We talked about this a little bit earlier. It's important in 3-on-3 that the big guy is not devalued. A lot of times in 5-on-5, the big guy may be devalued. And then the other two guys in 5-on-5, they're kind of, diversionary tactics. You're trying to figure out whether to exchange with them on the weak side, if you're playing the triangle on one side, or Sacramento elbow offense. You're always trying to figure out what to do with those other two guys, but it all boils down to 3-on-3.
That's what you said at the top of the broadcast, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Chalmers steps out. Lewis, offensive rebound. Trying to dish it off.
Chalmers is scoreless right now, so it's going to be important since they're struggling to score. They need his offense.
Three-headed monsters. Bit of dry spell. Oden against Evans. Evans steps in to steal. Another opportunity. The shake. Leans in. Oden is called for the foul. That's his second since halftime.
And one of the things that the Aliens are going to have to think about is, even though Oden has been successful on the box, maybe trying to mix in a little bit of a cross screen to try to get him a paint catch. Because now, Reggie Evans is pushing him further and further from the box, and he's not catching the ball, deep. So I think they're going to have to think about doing something to get him more of a paint catch rather than him catching the ball, 12 feet from the basket instead of 6 feet from the basket.
Brandon Rush. You see Oden against Evans off the ball.
Great
Three
slip.
to shoot. Rush, no, but he's fouled coming down by Chalmers. Now let's see if this was for 2 or for 3, and his foot was on the line.
Yeah, that was a great move by Rush. Instead of coming up and setting the pick and roll and holding it, slipping right out of it for a long 2.
What are the Aliens doing, if anything, with a tough matchup inside on Greg Oden? What are they doing working off their big man to free up shots like those for Brandon Rush?
Yeah, they're moving Rush around. Rush is not, just spotting up at the three-point line. You see him, he sprinted from the right side, slipped a middle pick and roll, and ended up on the left side of the floor. That was great movement on his part.
The three-headed monsters take over. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf in. They missed 13 of their last 15 shots. Mahmoud, what a move. Almost got it to drop after the flyby. Here's Oden. Working the block. Spins. Lost it. Evans takes the bait and fouls him.
But again, he ended up deep inside the paint. Great move. Good compact move. He kept his balance. Maybe a week ago, probably wouldn't have kept his balance, but he's just getting better and better. That's what I love about these guys. He's better and better.
The footwork.
Yeah, the footwork.
This fell on Lewis. Oden's 31. Of course, you remember, #1 pick, 2007. The build-up, how good he could have been if not for the injuries that started right after he was drafted by Portland.
Yes, and all of our guys, their best basketball is in the windshield. It's not in the rearview mirror. They're going to continue to get better and better. Look at where Greg Oden was, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And I just love where he is right now. You never know whether it's Greg Oden or Rush. And we talked about this earlier, Ed. These guys can help a lot of teams. Whether it's on the NBA level, overseas. Andre Owens played in China for 2 months last year.
So many guys just removed from NBA careers and beyond as Owens misses. And Owens reaching in on Rashard Lewis. This game's lost a little bit of the flow that we saw late in the first half, but the Aliens still maintaining what is an 11-point lead on the three-headed monsters.
Yes, they have to do what got you the lead. Just stay focused, stay sound, take care of the ball. Ed, I'm staring at this 4-point shot. Ed, I never really had 3-point range and let alone 4-point range. Ed, can I try a 4-point shot after the game's over?
I could say this. You made 27 career threes, regular season, because let's not discount the biggest one of your career in the NBA Finals.
Well, that was a long two.
But, man, those circles loom, don't they, from 4-point range?
Yes.
Greg Oden inside rolls, and he is fouled by Rashard Lewis. And it's becoming a tougher matchup inside there for Rashard Lewis against Greg Oden. Aliens in the bonus, and it's Oden for a 2-point shot.
I just love the passion and the pride that the guys are displaying on the court. Every fan that's here in this building, they can sense the passion.
It's a great basketball city here in Philadelphia. Obviously, legendary college programs. You have the Sixers 8 miles down Broad Street from us here at the Leo Cora Center. And just going back to the high school ranks, this is one of the best cities for basketball in the country and in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And it had a lot of battles against Allen Iverson. I remember, I had a game against Allen Iverson. I think I had 24 points, but he had 45.
And you both probably needed an ice bath when it was all said and done. Speaking of which, right now the Aliens a 9-point lead, and Hollins is going to attempt a 2-point shot here. Let's go to PT, Brandon Tierney.
Guys, I've listened to the conversation, and by the way, Avery, you better stretch those hamstrings, man. That 4 feet to circle, 4-footer's a long ways away. I'm just curious. I wonder how long these advanced analytics infiltrate Big 3, and you have a team like the Warriors 7-8 years ago, exclusively maybe in the Big 3, just bombing away from 4-point territory.
Yes, I think the analytics will probably say, definitely do not shoot a mid-range shot. We see a lot of threes, a lot of attempted threes where guys are shooting long twos on the line. It's better to just step back, 3 more steps and attempt a 3-point shot, a 4-point shot, rather than to shoot a long two with your foot on the line.
Difficult shot, but high percentage if you have those who have the range to make them.
Absolutely. At one time, analytics department, they used to have 1 guy in it. Now teams have 7 or 8 analytics guys be in their front offices.
Different even from your time with the Nets, which was not that long ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah, it's playing a great. Analytics is not the tool, but it's a tool that can really help a team with matchups, knowing the strengths and weaknesses, and just confirm what you already know in the scouting reporting, what you see on video.
Larry Sanders called for a loose ball foul. The possession had changed, and the Aliens have been in the bonus for quite a while. So another shot for Ryan Hollins. And Lewis going to get a breather here for the three-headed monsters. Tre Simmons back on for Gary Payton's club. Hollins short, and there's Sanders with the rebound. Abdul-Rauf.
One of the best times to get an offensive rebound is on the free throw attempt.
Yes.
Guys need maybe take that a little bit more seriously and try to get some of those offensive rebounds, especially if you got a guy on the free throw line that historically that hasn't been a good free throw shooter.
And now it's Sanders who's going to shoot from the line. Three-headed monsters. This is established a group as there is in the Big Three. And Sanders, the 3rd overall pick in 2019, coming in off the bench. But they were the runners-up. 2017 lost in the title game to Trilogy. And then last year, without Rashard Lewis, and they found a way to get to the semifinals, but met a very tough team in Three's company and lost big. So they're hungry, they're healthy, and even with a 50-year-old Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, Avery, so much experience.
Yeah, it's going to be very important to see if the Aliens can get back on track. They've come up empty several times, and whether the three-headed monsters can make a big push here.
Sanders active arms with the steal.
But the experience is very important. Nothing beats experience.
How about this guy? Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. Some open looks last couple of trips. Owens, the spin, foul by Mahmoud.
Started off the game trying to attack that matchup. Now here in what we would call the equivalent of a late 3rd period, they'll continue to try to exploit that matchup. Owens versus Abdul-Rauf.
Aliens 38. Three-headed monsters 27. Second game here in Philadelphia on CBS Sports Network. Head and bumper to bumper. This is in motorsports. It's a Lucas Oil off-road racing series on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Ty Archibald's Aliens leading Rashard Lewis's three-headed monsters as we go mic'd up.
Come on, Go. That's okay. Come on. You got to sit out. That's all right. That's all right, baby. Come on. Chalmers guards you or Russ. Post him up first because they got the bigs out there. All right? Shoot it. Shoot it. Shoot it.
9 seconds. And 1. There you go, Trey. Light him up. There you go. Hey. And 1. Come on, man. Hey, watch low, watch low, watch low.
Mic'd up and Avery mic off.
Yes, I love it. Nate Archibald, the coach of the Aliens. One of the things I love is, as a coach, you got to know what voice to use with your players in a given situation. Yesterday, during practice and when we met with him, it was more of his intense voice and disappointing voice. But now, you know, he had his loving voice, his teaching voice, his encouraging voice. So it's just very important to know how to communicate with your players. And if they trust you, they'll run through a wall for you.
He'll always be the point guard for the Bronx. DeWitt Clinton High School, and of course a legend, 6-time NBA All-Star Tiny Archibald, the Hall of Famer. Head coach Avery Johnson, Brandon Tierney with you from Philadelphia. Andre Owens blocked away by Larry Sanders in a shot clock violation.
And great adjustment by Gary Payton. You know, they understand that the Aliens are going to continue to try to go at Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, but now he got the weak side help from Sanders.
Mahmoud, easy pat to the rim, and here come the three-headed monsters chipping away.
I think they're going to make a big push here. They're sensing that time is running out, and you know, the Aliens are getting closer to 50, 12 points away.
50 years old, former number 3 pick in the 1990 NBA draft, one spot behind his head coach here in Big 3, Gary Payton. And the glove, of course, storied NBA career. And did win a title late in his NBA career with Miami in 2006. Maybe don't want to go too deep into that one. Mahmoud, no. Sanders, yes. And the three-headed monsters are back within 6.
And even though Sanders got that offensive rebound and tip in, you can see, you know, the penetration by the three-headed monsters now having an effect on their offensive success a positive effect. Just breaking down the defense, getting 2 on the ball. Great drive. Didn't get a secondary defender in there to help on the rebounds, and Sanders tipped it in. But that all started with penetration at the point of attack, specifically on the pick and roll. So what type of pick and roll defense are the Aliens going to try to execute? It looked like they're dropping back ahead in a little bit of a zone.
Well, it's led to this, 12 offensive rebounds for the three-headed monsters. Aliens with only 1. And Tiny's turning to Shannon Brown for Brandon Rush.
And sometimes when you're down and you're struggling to score, your best shot can be a missed shot. And that's what the three-headed monsters, they understand, hey, we're going to crash the boards.
And they're doing much of this without Reggie Evans. He had 25 rebounds last week, someone who twice led the NBA in total rebound percentage. And we get a review from our officials. It's a crew of Dave McAndrew, Ian McClenny, and Brent Stanford. They come from the college ranks. Also time for all the Big 3 officials in the G League.
I think they're doing a great job of just trying to distribute the ball, move the ball around, take the ball to the basket. They're not settling for threes, but again, the offensive rebound success rate for the three-headed monsters are paying dividends for them.
Sanders and Hollins for that rebound. Gary Payton's team down double figures since halftime. Now it's a 6-point game. And it's going to be Aliens basketball with a full shot clock. They have Andre Owens inbounding with Shannon Brown and Ryan Hollins. And before it gets in, Hollins is wrapped up and Sanders is called for the foul.
Yeah. Most teams run that little bit of a cross-pick action to try to get the ball in. I think as the Big 3 season moves on, I think you're going to see teams try to stack players up back-to-back on the ball side and try to get a little bit more creative. Maybe go try to throw a lob, pop a guy to the corner, but most of the teams are doing the same thing. So you look for the coaches to look at film in between games and try to get a little bit more creative.
Worst case, you get to the line. Last 10 points for the Aliens have come from the foul line. Brown, that's not for the field. Sanders, the rebound, and he is hit up high and fouled in what has been such a physical, exhausting Big 3 game here in Philadelphia.
Yes, and guys in between weeks, you're really gonna have to get in the weight room because these games are physical. Got to get your proper rest, get in the weight room, and really hit the reset button and refuel because these games are really physical.
He is somewhat of a good excuse after proposing last week, Larry Sanders, after a week of celebration and getting engaged to Holly J.
Yeah, but it's not time to go on the honeymoon.
That's true.
He just proposed there.
Good point. She did say yes on the big stage, which is always the most important thing. Sanders, and there's Shannon Brown for the rebound. Aliens by 6. Brown short. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf and the three-headed monster trying to get to 2-0. Simmons strip. Brown's got it to Hollins. He traveled.
I'm not sure about that call. Looked like he gathered himself. The ball was a little bit loose. You know, if the refs had a chance to see that one again, maybe they'll change their mind. But
I'm sure Tiny Archibald's been wondering, waiting. He's making the move to Greg Oden now with his team leading 40-34. And look at Hollins. He's given them some huge minutes so far in this game.
Yeah, both of their big guys are playing well. You know, 7-footers have to play like 7-footers, and they're doing that tonight.
There's a lid on the rim in every sense. Look at Oden. Did he step out? Yes, he did.
Great hustle. You know, when a guy Oden's size can go after a loose ball, I mean, he sprinted to secure that ball. He wasn't successful, but that sends a great message to your team.
Rashard Lewis creates some space and hits it over Brown. All of a sudden, the Aliens' lead has been whittled down to 4. They've missed their last 7 shots.
Searching for some offense. I think one of the things here is, instead of setting the pick and roll, you have to slip and move. And even if you slip, you can slip into some sort of a screening action. They've become pretty, really stagnant.
42-36. Edge comes from Oden. Abdul-Rauf to Evans, minus the headband, misses the hook shot. Referees confer. It's going to be Aliens basketball.
Greg Oden, what a twist of fate from week to week.
Yeah.
Started off really fast last week, slowed down, but he's competing on both ends of the floor.
Smaller look right now for the Aliens. Brown, Owens, and Rush. Brown against Evans. Shannon Brown can't finish it. Evans wants it because of the smaller defender. Instead, it's Lewis. 2 Aliens on him. Evans can't get the board.
Now you just got to figure out where is the weaker of the defenders. That's the guy that we want to try to attack.
Owens, the spin and the finish over front rim.
Great job by the Aliens. They decided not to get Reggie Evans involved. I don't know if Brown can really beat Reggie Evans off the dribble.
Look at this matchup. Owens waiting to double. Evans and a foul called on Shannon Brown, but the last bucket, a huge one for Andre Owens and the Aliens.
Yeah, great decision by Tiny. Look, we want to try to go at their point guard, get to the basket. They're smaller, not a lot of shot blocking around the basket. They spreaded Evans out at the three-point line, which created a driving lane.
Big man from Pensacola, Florida. 2 points for the three-headed monsters, and they're within striking distance, down by 6.
Reggie was telling me his oldest, one of his daughters is 6'2", and he said, "Coach, my daughter's taller than you." I don't know if I should have smiled or what should I have done?
Have you ever heard that?
No, I haven't heard that.
Wow, that's bold. How about this? Lewis fouled by Rush. He has a chance at a three-point play. And Avery Johnson. It's a 4-point game here in Philly, and a timeout from Nate Archibald and the Aliens.
One of the things about Rashard Lewis is he's a guy, throughout his entire career that was an underrated finisher around the basket. You want to talk about his career, he's a pick and pop guy. He's a pick and pop guy, and you heard that over and over again. But when teams ran him off the three-point line, he's got great hands. He knows how to utilize the rim. Sometimes he'll go up on the strong side. He'll use the rim when secondary defenders come over and uses the reverse layup. So he does a nice job around the basket. So look for Gary to try to get him the ball a little bit more on the move inside the three-point line and try to get some traditional three-point plays around the basket.
Wrapping up the second weekend here in the 2019 Big 3 season here in Philadelphia. This is game 2. And Rashard Lewis at the line completes a three-point play. Don't forget game 3 tonight on CBS Sports Network. Dr. J, Julius Erving back in Philadelphia with Tri-State against Philly's own Cuttino Mobley and the defending champion Power.
Dr. J will be in the house.
Wow.
Wow. I still remember that reverse layup. Did he started from Broadway Street.
The baseline move.
The baseline move, wow.
And just the hands.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe 2 other people on the planet could do that. Kawhi Leonard won right now, but the grip was incredible.
When you shake Dr. J's hand, it's like he has 4 hands shaking your one hand. Your hands just disappear.
Inhaled. Chalmers short. Evans and Oden there. Did Evans knock it off Oden? He did. Stays with the three-headed monsters. 1-point game. Remember, first to 50 wins, you have to win by 2.
That's just what we talked about, Ed. The three-headed monsters utilized another set to get the ball in bounds, and they got a free catch. Great back screen by Evans, and then he popped just to get the ball in clean.
Bodies crashing. Andre Owens pleading his case. Extended the arm into his back.
Yep, they're going to call that every time.
11-4 run for the three-headed monsters. What was a double-figure Aliens lead since halftime has been whittled down to 1. Evans can give the three-headed monsters the lead at the line. And just like that, Gary Payton's club is up by 1.
And we talked about it. Gary said, you know, his team needs to play with more energy. And whenever you have a team coached by Gary Payton, there's no quitting your team.
First lead tonight for the three-headed monsters.
Great pass.
Evans kept it into to shoot. Lewis on his backside rush, got it to Owens. Heads up play. Owens for 3. Rims out to Lewis.
Key is going to be who can get uncontested shots or get to the free throw line.
Lewis turns into one and buries it over Rush.
Terrific job of finishing in the paint. You'll see Gary Payton go back to that Rashard Lewis and try to milk it and force the Aliens to double team.
Rush short. Oden can save. Point game for the three-headed monsters trying to cap off the comeback.
Once Rashard Lewis gets that ball over his head, we talked about it earlier, he goes from 6'10" to 7'1", and it's hard to block that shot, especially with that fadeaway.
No one can match his shooting at that height. That's why it's point game for this group. Rashard Lewis after halftime taking over in Philadelphia.
Great job by Rashard. He knows he's a left shoulder player. Guys want to get to their strength. You're not going to see him going over his right shoulder. This is where the analytics come in, as BT was talking about. From an analytics standpoint, I'm 100% when I go over my left shoulder or when I go to my right on a drive. Smart. Players have high basketball IQ. These are veteran players of the game. And they're not just playing the game just to be playing. This is about continuing their legacy.
15 for Lewis. 9 rebounds, and speaking of BT, let's go over to Brandon Tierney.
Yeah, watching the huddle here, guys, with the Aliens, and one of the things that Nate Tiny Archibald said is that Ryan Hollins is half the coach there, and really watching this huddle, he's imploring his guys, and listen, you can construct a roster, you can do a lot of things, you can't teach boys, so formative stages right now, learning how to win for both teams.
No question about it, BT, and we talked about the Aliens after halftime last week against the Triplets. Right now it's a 26-10 run for the three-headed monsters. Going to learn a lot about Tiny Archibald's team right now out of the timeout.
Yes, and it's all about finishing.
Point game, three-headed monsters. Chalmers, Evans, Lewis out there.
The key is going to be for the Aliens. What are they going to do with their pick and roll coverage?
Lewis for the win. He's fouled. It doesn't matter. Three-headed monsters. Winners in Philly.
Wow, what a great pass. Catch and shoot by Rashard Lewis. And his drives to the basket set up that three-point shot. Defense went to sleep. Great shot by Rashard.
We talked about how unguardable this is. Boom.
14-0 run to end the game.
They finish it off, outscoring the Aliens 29-10. And Rashard Lewis saving the three-headed monsters. And he's now with BT.
Shots up in the gym, but coming off a curl, getting hit, dropping a game winner.
It's tough because it's a physical game. You know, your legs kind of go on you, trying to make jump shots. the most important part is we got the win. You know, I'm happy we got the win today.
No doubt. Gary Payton talking to at half, he said, I need my guys to show some more energy. I'm sure he explained that in his own words, in his own way, right?
Yeah, you know how Gary talks. Oh, yeah. So he knows how to light a fire on us a little bit. But one thing about us is we may not knock down shots. We're going to keep playing hard, and try our best to win the game.
That's a great job, man. Nice job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Rashard Lewis banging it at the horn, basically. Wow.
PT, thanks. Three-headed monsters. 2-0 to begin the Big 3 season. A tough one for the Aliens in Philadelphia. 2 games down here on CBS Sports Network.